Hello people, it's Poet and welcome to the 100,000 subscribers special, part 1. Now, this is part 1 because I'm actually going to be doing something else later in the week. I gotta kind of plan it a little bit more. It was suggested to me many times that I do a draw my life type of thing. I'm not a doodler. That sounds... Anyway, I don't draw, I don't sketch, I don't doodle, I don't do anything related to drawing at all. So that'll be interesting when I do mine. Probably expect like stick figure drawings, but I'll do my best. I do have a whiteboard and I will set up something. So that'll kind of be part 2. But this is part 1. Well, technically part 1 I did a dinosaur day. So I did a bunch of different dinosaur videos throughout the day. Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, Jurassic Park Builder, Beasts of Prey, Minecraft Dinosaurs. So like everything that basically grew my channel to 100,000 I did today. I even released a Mega Walls and stuff like that. But basically I wanted to at least get like a dinosaur video out of every type of series. Now, that was kind of part 1. This is, you can consider part 1 or 2, is doing the Q&A. Now, I did ask for questions on the TimeShot Reddit, and I've got them on the screen here. You'll see my eyes keep darting this way because I'm looking at, there's like a screen here, there's a screen there, and then the camera's there. So it's kind of like in between the screens. I don't do a webcam, face cam thing often. So, needless to say, I'm not used to looking at the little camera thing. I'm used to looking at things that are on the screen. And so that's kind of hard for me to get used to. And so you'll see my eyes dart this way a lot. But I'm going to get to the Q&A. We're going to do this fairly quickly, and I'm going to start at the bottom of the Reddit. I'm just going to actually refresh the page just in case. I don't want to miss someone if they asked last second here. So all right, here we go. Let's start with this bottom one. Okay, so I got it on the screen. This is from Skull Ring. Well, these are their Reddit usernames. I don't know what their actual, like what they want to be known as, but I'll just read off their Reddit usernames. Skullring666. He says, being a drummer for over 20 years now, my question is, do you play any musical instruments? And if so, which one? And if not, which one would you like to learn to play? When I was growing up, it was so ridiculous. I'm almost embarrassed to say it, but there was this action figure series, I think it was. You can see one, wait, in the background there, Donatello, right? So, I loved Ninja Turtles action figures when I was growing up, when I was like 5 years old, 6 years old, loved them. And they actually had different lines. I don't know if you, they probably still do, so a lot of you know what I'm talking about, but they had like different lines of the action figures. So you'd get one where it would be like different Halloween costume, different monsters, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like Leonardo would be the werewolf and Raphael would be the mummy or something like that. So you had different series like that. In one series, they were actually all musicians. And Donatello being my favorite, he had a keyboard. And I guess because it's like kind of techno, kind of technological, he was the brains guy, so they gave him a keyboard. And so one of the instruments that I always wanted to play since I was that young was the keyboards, because I thought that it would be kind of cool to kind of follow in Donatello's footsteps, as lame as that sounds. But that was definitely it was definitely what I wanted. I did try to pick up guitar a couple times and didn't make it much further than like the very most basic songs that you can learn, the Bands Go Marching or whatever that song's called, and you know, things like that. I didn't learn very much on the guitar. You know, my brother, of course, being a guy who has his music degree and who has been also doing music for ages, just ages. I really couldn't compete with that. I don't think we had the same kind of brain, if that makes sense. Like, I guess I have kind of a musical brain in a way. I do understand music. I try to do my best singing and stuff like that, but I've always had more of a logical mathematical brain. I'm the kind of guy who remembers numbers. Well, not so much lately, it seems, but the kind of guy who would be a problem solver more so than the artist. And music is definitely in the art kind of portion of your brain, I think. So it's only recently that I'm starting to develop more and more into the musical side of things. If I wanted to learn an instrument now, it would probably be more along the lines of a digital nature, like doing something in FL Studio, Fruity Loops, or whatever you want to call it, or something like that with different techno beats, kind of along the same lines as having keyboard skills. So I don't know, maybe nothing's changed in the time that I've grown up. Next question is from Fezzi. Question is, what is your most memorable childhood memory? And that's a tough one. A lot of the things that happened in my childhood, I don't really cling on to that much. Seems kind of sad, but there's lots of different things that I could talk about. But I'd have to say that if I'm talking about like kind of related to the draw my life type of thing, that if I needed to pick one thing that I really remember was this day where actually it came up in a conversation recently with Winter, because she was talking about the new Gauntlet game that came out on Steam, and asked if I had ever played Gauntlet, I think. And the memory I have is of my cousin and I. I must have only been, I don't remember how old I was, but I was pretty young. I was still a little kid. My cousin too. He's 3 years older than me, but he was still pretty young too. And we had hooked up an NES and had started playing Gauntlet. Now, if you know Gauntlet, it's kind of a dungeon crawler type of thing, where you get different classes, wizard, warrior. I don't need to really explain it, but it has an infinite amount of levels. This is something that we did not know. So, as kids, we actually would hook up our NES, right, and we'd start playing it. Now, if you know the NES, and maybe if you don't, I'll explain it, it doesn't have a save function 99% of the time. Some games did, like I think Zelda did, but most games didn't have a save function, which is unheard of these days, right? But here's this game, and it didn't have a save function. And we were getting pretty high levels, right? Like we were going through the levels, and the point of every level was to find, like, well, the exit, right? It's a dungeon crawler. We got to level 50, and we were thinking to ourselves, like, this is crazy. We can't turn this thing off. We started over. We pushed my NES into my bedroom, because for some reason we thought, like, we were thinking up these weird scenarios where someone would come in and bump it or turn it off, or maybe they'd touch it by accident, or my brother would get to it, or like wanting to play a game or something. And I think I even remember us, like, he wanted to play some kind of a game, and we were yelling at him, like, no, don't touch it. You cannot touch it. We can't save. We can't save. We can't turn this off. We need to keep going. So we pushed it into my bedroom, into a corner, with a tiny TV that we had at the time. And what we would do was basically play it all day long, get as far as we could, and then we'd just turn the TV off, not the console off, and it would just sit there, and we'd push it into the corner and not be able to touch it, and we wouldn't be able to bump it, because again, if you know an NES, sometimes if you bump the thing too hard, it turns itself off, it glitches out. It wasn't a very well made box. So we couldn't even touch this thing. It was like so precious that we couldn't even look at it in a certain way, or it might turn itself off. So we ended up we kept playing, and we got to level, I think, 110 or something like that. It was a crazy amount. Got to level 110, and that's when we realized this game doesn't have an end. It doesn't have an end. But that childhood memory of just loving a video game so much, and having that feeling with my cousin where it was so important to us that we couldn't even touch the thing. We couldn't even look at it a certain way without it being like it was our life. And I owe a lot of who I am now to my cousin when he was living with us, but I'll get to a lot of that in the draw my life thing, so I'm not going to spoil too much now. Let's see. This is a question from Totally Not Winter, is their name. Now, Winter swears this is totally not her, totally. But, hold on. That was my phone going off. Let me read it. Oh, it's my dad asking me if I'm watching Breaking Bad. I'm not. Actually, I should be, but I'm not. But let's get to the question. Let's see. Totally Not Winter says, this is a throwback question from one of your live streams back when you were on Red Cubed. Question is Winter or Yuki? And I think I have the same reply, if I'm not mistaken. The same reply that I had back then was like, since Yuki's not here, I prefer Winter or something like that. And no, I think Win is totally a cool girl, so I'll say her. Yuki, I haven't actually talked to in a very long time, if I'm taking this question seriously. So Yuki, if you are watching, much respect to you, but Winter is definitely the more current person of interest, I guess I could say. Let's see. Next question is from Codman36. Oh, yeah, Codman36. Congratulations on 100K. My question is, what is your favorite and least favorite food? Now, this is a question that I can easily answer because I'm a foodie by trade. No, not by trade. I used to do a food blog. I used to do food reviews. I was a vegetarian for upwards of 7 years or so. I have a pretty broad spectrum of food. I've eaten in restaurants with $1,000 plates of food. I've eaten in restaurants with just some immaculate, amazing stuff. And with that said, I've also eaten in some pretty divey places that I absolutely love as well. So what is my favorite kind of food is pretty easy. I love anything with eggplant in it. And this is a question that I think I actually answered in one of my Better Than Wolves or one of my Lion King episodes. Probably both, actually. It's a question that a lot of people ask, is what's your favorite and least favorite what is your favorite and least favorite food? Anything with eggplant. So like an eggplant parmesan is usually pretty good. There's this Chinese place, and of course I'm talking about this Singapore cuisine place, where they make this kind of like an braised eggplant thing, and it's just amazing. So, I mean, I like that kind of thing. I know that eggplant isn't for everyone, but it's definitely one of my favorite things. It was something that I had to like develop a taste for. When I was a kid, I probably would never have even looked at it more than once, but it's something that once I started eating it, it was like, this is an amazing thing that I wish I could have every day. So that's my favorite. My least favorite, I've got several different ones that I kind of classify as food. They are tamarind. I don't like anything with tamarind in it. I know that it's very popular in, I think, Philippine cuisine, even like Mexican cuisine, I think, and Indian maybe, tamarind. I tried it a couple times, and I just don't have my taste buds don't like it. My taste buds don't want me anywhere near tamarind. Fennel seed, more than the fennel, the plant. I had very bad experience. I had a bad fennel experience. Is this a thing that you can have? I had a bad fennel experience where I had these baked potatoes with fennel seed on them, and it was so overpoweringly strong that I think that it probably made something in my brain kind of like click, and it was like, this was the first time I ever had fennel, and it was like a very, very strong taste. And no, my brain just didn't want any more of that. So it's I don't eat that. Fennel. Cilantro. Now, this is one of the most common ones that people love, but I don't like cilantro. And I've even researched into it a bit because I'm a big geek, and that's basically something where there's this weird thing that happens again in your brain where with cilantro specifically, like they actually have this thing where it's cilantro is like one of the big what's the word for it? Deciding factors, I guess, in whether you like a certain type of food or not. Is the first time you eat cilantro, your brain will try to put it into a food group, because it has such a weird minty taste to it. And your brain will either think that it tastes delicious, or conversely, it'll think that it tastes like soil, topsoil, or dirt, or just awful, right? And yeah, I do not like cilantro. And it will ruin an entire dish for me. I went to a restaurant with my brother once that he was actually showing off to me. He really liked this restaurant, so I went there with him. And it was a Mexican place. And so we ordered these burritos. And I specifically asked not to have cilantro on mine. And as I was eating it, I was eating this giant burrito. And out of the entire thing, it was filled with different ingredients. I could actually pick out this tiny, microscopic, almost sprig of cilantro that it ruined the whole dish. Just this one little accidental flake of it. So that's like one of the third things that I just don't like. Those are the top three. There are probably others, but I'm not very picky when it comes to food, to be honest. Apart from the cilantro thing, which is in just about anything. If it's cooked in something, then I usually don't mind it too much. But most things I'm not afraid to eat. You know, I'll at least try it once or twice before I decide that I don't like it. And usually it's not that I won't eat it again. It's just that I don't really care for it. Next question from Zanester, I think is how you pronounce that. Congrats on 100 subs. 100K subs. Thank you. This is my question. What do you think was the first thing that boosted your channel subscribers? So, I've kind of had this talk before with like what makes a YouTuber popular type of thing. And honestly, if I knew, then I'd have 1 million subscribers, you know. It's a weird combination of things, and ultimately it comes down to who you are, doing things that you love, and finding that unique something that people also love as well. It's really difficult to find. And again, like if it was something that I could just tangibly say, like, yes, do this, then I'd have probably 1 million subscribers, never mind 100,000. It's so weird. I often say, like, I don't deserve what I have any more than probably any of the people that I've ever done videos with. So it's very strange for me to try to determine what boosted my channel. I never once did any kind of advertising. I never really did any collaborations with channels that were bigger than mine. I never really did games just because they were popular at the time. I just do things that interest me, and strangely enough, other people find them interesting, you know? And I draw a lot of what I do from my childhood. Like, I like dinosaurs as a kid, so I started a series on dinosaurs, Minecraft dinosaurs. I liked Pokemon when I was a kid, so I started a series on Minecraft Pokemon, because Minecraft was always kind of the game to go to, which then blew up and everybody started doing that. Minecraft Pixelmon is absolutely crazy how much that blew up. But I quite often draw upon like childhood experiences. I really liked space and things like that, so maybe in the future I'll do something space related. There's a lot of space games out there and things like that nature, so maybe that's what I'll do in the future. But that's just an example. Like, draw from what you know, draw from what you love, and if you love it, and if you know that other people love it as well, chances are that they'll like the videos on it too. I mean, that's just kind of straightforward for me. Next question is from Demka. It says, "Hooray for 100K." That rhymed. It did rhyme. My question, in honor of the first series of yours that I watched, are you excited for the Aether 2 Mutation beta release, #hype? Also, have you wanted to play/record any RPG horror games like The Mad Father? Yes, number one is yes, I'm very excited for the Aether 2 Mutation beta thing that they're working on. I am following them constantly. I was even going to start up an Aether 2 series yet again, but they actually told me to wait. That's how I think excited they are on it, is that they actually told me to hold off my Aether 2 series until the mutation is done and then attack it, because honestly, it's going to be quite amazing again. The Aether 2, I've said way back in the past in old Q&As and stuff, that other than Optifine, if you can consider it a mod, the Aether 2 is my absolute favorite Minecraft mod ever made, even more so than Minecraft Dinosaurs, even more so than Pixelmon or anything like that. The Aether 2 was my favorite. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm following their development all the time, and I will be starting a series on it. You can take this for a fact right now that yes, I'll be looking at it again in the future. And will I record or play any RPG horror games like Mad Father? Probably not. I used to love those little RPG games, and in fact, back in the year, maybe in 1998 or 1999 or even into 2000, I used to actually make those RPG Maker games, and that's where I learned a lot of my game development back then. Now it's very popular to have, like, there's different RPG Maker games for the horror series and stuff. I'm not too much a fan of horror games anyway. I would probably, if I'm going to play any RPG Maker games, it'll probably be like a Final Fantasy-esque RPG game more so than a horror game. But I can't say never. Never say never. I might play one, but chances are that I probably won't record one. I know that Win had played quite a bunch of them, but I just couldn't see myself getting into that kind of thing. I don't know. I might play it, but it's not something that really interests me, really. Really interests me, really. This question is from Fabe, and says, what is it you consider yourself to be the best one in? Also, would you do everything the same way if you'd had the chance to relive your career or your life if you wanted to answer that? Those are loaded questions, Fabe. What do I consider myself the best in? I don't know, honestly. I've never even pondered on that one very much. I'm the best person at being myself. Nobody could be poet better than poet, But honestly, I don't know what I'd say I'm the best in. I don't know that I'm narcissistic enough to actually have ever considered myself the best in anything, and that's just from the way that I was brought up and the way that my childhood was and the way that kind of things went. I never really learned self-confidence until very, very late in life, and I think that kind of relates to the second part of your question, is that if I ever had to relive anything in my career, or anything in life for that matter, would be like, I've always thought about this. If I could have a time machine and go back in time, I would tell my little self, who cares what people think about you in school? Who cares if you're bullied every day? You're going to be awesome when you're older. You're going to be such a cool guy. Don't worry about what they say. Don't worry about what you do. Have some self-confidence, And I would hope that I would listen to myself then. But it took me a very long time to gain self-confidence. So it's, number one, really hard for me to say that I'm the best in anything. Um, I would rather have other people maybe tell me that kind of stuff, um, because I it's not that I can't really see it, but I wouldn't consider myself the best in anything, really. I'd consider myself pretty happily moderately decent in a lot of things. Um, making videos. I think I make videos okay. I enjoy it anyway. Um, and I think that I present myself in a laid back way 90% of the time very well. Uh, the 10% otherwise I'm completely in like high level rant mode. But um, am I the best at being laid back? No. Am I the best at playing video games? No. Am I the best at making videos? No. There are always going to be people that are better than me in what I do. In my free time, I work on cars and stuff. Am I the best mechanic? No. Um, I wouldn't say I'm the best in anything, but I think like I said, I do things pretty decently, moderately good. I do just about everything moderately good. No, nothing too great. Um, but yeah, if I had anything that I could do over and change and relive and maybe change, like fix, uh, it would be my self-confidence level. I would try to boost my self-confidence level at an early age, um, because I mean, if I had this level of self-confidence that I have now when I was little, I would be, I don't know what my limitation would be. I would have no limits. And I see that now, but it's almost like it's a little bit too late. Um, and also the confidence even now to do things when I think that the going is getting tough, and I'm thinking, maybe I should step back a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't do a certain thing. If I have like several series in my mind, and I push them to the back of my mind because I'm thinking, you know what, they'll never work. Nobody will like that. I'm just not good enough at that. I gotta I gotta kind of try my best to get over that, and I normally do, but you know, there's always room for change. But do I regret anything? If that's part of the question, no, I don't regret who I am, where I've been, what I've done, what I've said, what I've lived, what my career has done. I wouldn't change anything about that. I don't regret where I am and what I've done. So if I had the chance to relive it, I probably wouldn't, to be honest with you, because I'm perfectly fine with where I am and what I do. And I mean, look, 100,000 subscribers. Some people like me. All right, so I mean, if that's all that it's about. Next is from Andrula, I know. Andrew LA 824. Happy 1K, 100K subs. I'm gonna read that wrong every time. Happy 100K subs. Thank you. How did you meet 2G1M? That's actually a question that was asked before too. It was kind of funny. I knew about them from before I even started making YouTube videos. They were one of the very few channels that I watched that played Minecraft. I was definitely FNA of them, if you know what I mean. I watched one of their first dropper maps called The Library, and that was, I think, maybe the very first Minecraft video that I ever saw. And it really excited me to start wanting to play Minecraft and do that kind of thing. So that's where I kind of learned about them, but I didn't meet them until it was Red Cubed. Me and Drew were doing a live stream, and we were trying to see how many people we could get into this live stream, just kind of as a competition to each other. And then we got the idea that, hey, maybe we have so many people that will actually like impact a server. If we join a server, the amount of fans we have will actually like impact this server that we're on. And I think we had like 100 people watching. and we actually went, one of the first names that I thought of, because I didn't know of any other Minecraft YouTubers, was Two Girls with Minecraft. And I thought, hey, do they have a server? Do they have some kind of a place that they hang out? Like some kind of a, what do they do? Do they have a server? We could go there. And we did. We found it. We went there. And we actually were able to crash their server, which red flagged their mods, their admins, and to which point they contacted Nia, I think, who then contacted Misconduct and was like, you got to come on here. Like, what's going on? What's happening? Apparently, their Skype blew up when we went on there. Ended up, they joined our call. They entered the call with us, Skype call, and hung out with us on the server for a while and had a lot of fun. And the rest is kind of history from there. Like, it was all kind of because of this one crazy live stream that we had. And from there, we met at Minecon. And we also did the Vex series together. It was a lot of fun, and it basically all just happened from like a chance meeting, So that sometimes it can happen that way. It's kind of cool. Liam asks, what are your 3 best memories from your YouTube career so far? I would say number 1 was like the first time that I had someone commenting on my videos and like thinking of me as a big YouTuber, even though I had only like maybe 100 subscribers or so. And I thought it was so hilarious because I'd read these comments and they'd be like, they'd be doing the spam thing where as you're watching the video, you're commenting on the video. So like 2 minutes in, you see me miss a block or something, and then they'll comment, and they'll make a comment, and they'll say, oh, why did you miss that block? And then the next comment will be like 5 minutes in, I did something else, and they'll comment on that. And then 5 comments or so in, they would give me a comment like, why isn't anybody else commenting? And I thought that was just so hilarious because, like, duh, I don't have subscribers. Are you kidding me? Of course I don't. Why aren't other people commenting? There aren't any other people. You are the people. That to me was one of my best memories, was seeing that kind of thing. I think number 2 would have to be probably, man, this is a tough one. I think my decision to go alone, to just go it alone and not really live off of anybody else's, well, that's not, I mean, how do I word it right? There was an opportunity several times, actually, several opportunities in my life, in my YouTube career, where I had the ability to advance it very rapidly by joining a certain group or joining a certain bunch of people or joining a certain party or joining a certain server, so on and so forth. And I was never interested in that. I'd never wanted immediate fame. I never wanted immediate fortune. I just wanted to do what I do the same way that I do it. So I think one of my best memories on YouTube career-wise is just making that decision to run my business for myself and doing it for myself, and not really focusing on getting ahead. That decision was what really impacted my lifespan on Red Cubed and the formation of Time Shot, and forged a lot of friendships along the way that I otherwise probably wouldn't have made. So that's definitely one of the best things that happened in my YouTube career, was my decision to just kind of be an independent, so to speak. And I think the third thing would definitely be kind of the combination of all these different milestones. I remember the very first 10,000 subscriber special when I did a Slender Man thing, and it was the first time I ever showed my face on camera, which was really fun for me. And then like the next one was like, I think 20,000. I did a special where I did like all the 3 series that I was doing at the time. I did like a map tour of them or something. It was really kind of cool. I liked and enjoyed that so much. 50,000, I did montages and I talked about kind of my journey through YouTube. And definitely one of the best memories was kind of just looking back at all of those specials. Like, I think it was after I made my 50,000 subscriber special, and kind of just focusing, like, reflecting on what I had done and where I was, kind of just taking in all the words that I had spoken during my 50,000 subscriber special, and kind of just reflecting on where I was and what was happening, and being so, feeling that level of pride and accomplishment and that self-worth, that I talked about in Fabe's question. Like, just feeling so much of it and being so proud of what I did. Being able to look at my portfolio, my catalog of videos, and being like really actually proud of what I had done. I couldn't look at that and say, maybe they'll offend someone. Maybe, there are people out there who make certain videos, and sometimes I don't know how they live with themselves, sleep at night. Some of the stuff they make is kind of offensive. I've always looked at what I've done and been very proud to be able to show that off, even to friends and family who might not like video games, might not like videos on YouTube or anything like that, but I've always been proud anyway to show it off, because it is stuff that I am genuinely happy with, So my third best memory is definitely just being able to do these milestones and looking back and being proud of what I've done. Next question. Win asks, what game are you most looking forward to playing in the future? Like, if we're talking video game, I don't know. I'm very curious to see if Jurassic World, the new Jurassic Park movie coming out in 2015, if there's any new video games related to that. Because obviously Jurassic Park and my channel have a very, very happy relationship together. I would love to see something from there. Like, I really want to be blown away by the next-gen Jurassic Park games, Half-Life 3 confirmed would be awesome. Because Half-Life was always a game that I played the living crap out of, and when Half-Life 2 came out, I slaughtered that one too with just overplaying it. So Half-Life 3 I'm looking forward to if it ever comes out. As far as other games, I don't know. Honestly, like, I'm happy with the games that are coming out now, and in fact, so many new games come out now. Like, I go on the Steam sales or the Humble Bundle sales, and games that I've never heard of, that I'm not even expecting to come out, are released by indie devs and by actually like the AAA title developers as well. Titles that just kind of blow me away every time, and it's a constant battle of like, there are just too many things on this page that I see right here that I want, and I can maybe pick one to play. And it's always just a constant battle of like, there are too many good games coming out these days. Whereas like in our childhoods, there weren't a whole lot of games to play, You were kind of limited by what you had available for any console or PC or whatever. But nowadays, so many people live in the gaming industry that it's just astronomical, the amount of games coming out that I really want to play and definitely look forward to playing. The next gen Minecraft would be kind of cool if that ever is a thing in the very far future. I don't know. We'll see. Whatever comes up on my channel next is the game that I'm looking forward to most to play. Silent V12 Mods asks, what is your top 5 favorite old/classic cars? Now, I actually own, I think, 4 old/classic cars. My 1980 Camaro, my 1977 Corvette Stingray, and my 1972 Chevy Nova are awesome. I love them. I've got a 1939 Chevy Coupe, which is really, it's a bucket of rust if I'm to be honest with you, but I still want to fix it up. It's going to be a project that my dad and I are going to work on, and I'm really looking forward to that. Of course, I've always liked the Chevelles and I don't know, just things like that. Malibu, old Malibu, if I'm talking about old cars. But the European side as well. Like just today, as a matter of fact, I was looking at an old XJ12 Jaguar from the early 80s that I was thinking about maybe buying. It was only $1,000, and I'm thinking to myself, no, I got all these other cars. I'm trying to sell these other cars. I don't want more projects. I don't want more insurance money. I'm trying to get rid of these things because I can't afford these things. Why am I trying to look at another car? But yeah, definitely I used to own an old Porsche that I really liked. I used to really want an old Mercedes from the 70s would kind of be cool. I really like the old luxury cars. Now that I'm getting older, maybe, the old luxury cars as opposed to the old sports cars. I've kind of maybe wisened up and realized that, you know what, I like heated seats. I like nice plush leather seats. I like living in like luxury. I don't so much really care for the hard racing seats that you have to sit in when you're in a sports car and stuff like that. You know, I don't go fast anyway. I've always been one to drive the speed limit and want to show off my cars rather than speed so fast by that people just get annoyed and can't see your car anyway. So that's definitely one of the things that I really like. And Fabe kind of asked a sub question on this. He says he wants to know my 5 favorite cars in general, and also my favorite German car brand. Well, kind of like I said, I always wanted an old 70s usually, but an old 70s Mercedes would kind of be kind of cool. Like an old Daimler, I think. Is that German? It sounds German. That would be kind of cool. There are even some older Volkswagen that I'd actually probably really like too, but that's as far as German cars go. 5 favorite cars, like in general, the brand new Corvette Stingray is pretty cool. If I'm talking about like American muscle, the Lexus LFA I've been looking at every day now for like the last week. It's been around for years now, this Lexus LFA, but it is just a thing of beauty. I look at it every day and think like, oh, if only I was a millionaire, you know, then I would own one of those types of things. I watch like people like Jay Leno driving them, and you know, it's one of those dream cars type of thing, you know, the Ferrari that you have on your wall when you're a little kid type of thing. As far as like 5 favorite cars go, like in general, probably those old classic cars that I own are part of that. Because my dad and I used to always go to car shows together and car swap meets and stuff. And when I was just a little kid, I always dreamed of owning a Corvette, owning a Nova, and owning a Camaro. And now I own all 3 of them. So that's kind of like, those were my dream cars. So those were probably amongst my favorites always, yeah. Next question is from Codewing and asks, if you had to pick a career besides YouTubing or in IT, what would you choose? And that's actually, a lot of people probably know this, is that when I was in university, I had already had my degree in computer science. I had already done engineering, network engineering for like IT and stuff like that. I had already focused a little bit on literature because I was really into literature when I was in high school, as you could see by the name Poet and stuff. But this is a weird fact, but I actually went back to university for an entire, I think, year plus summer session, so technically 2 years. 1.5 years. I went back to university and was actually enrolled in the archaeology program, learning about ancient Rome, ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, ancient you name it. We were learning it. And that's something that I always would have liked a career in. And I used to always say that to people, was I started focusing on archaeology and they said, why? Why archaeology? Like, that's so completely, are you insane? You're in computers and stuff like that, and all of a sudden you're into, like, archaeology? Why? And my reply was always something like, well, I gotta have something to fall back on. When I'm too old and gray that my eyes can't even see the wording on the screen, I want to be able to at least do archaeology. Because, bones and pottery fragments, those are pretty big objects that I could pick up when I'm too old and gray to see a computer screen. So if I were to pick any career, and I'm talking about like dream job kind of career, would be to focus again on archaeology, finish that kind of degree, intern in Italy looking at different monuments and things like that. And that's something that I would do. It's kind of a weird fact, but that's something that's always been a passion of mine, and which is kind of reflected in me doing the fossils and archaeology mod. When I saw that come out, I was just like, oh, archaeology, what? In a mod in Minecraft? Amazing. So that's kind of, yeah, I would probably do that. If not, like if I'm to like have a more realistic career, like something tangible that just anybody could get kind of thing, I would probably still be in business for myself, but my dad and I, again, would probably go into business together, kind of related to the car thing. We've often talked about doing a classic car parts, kind of a distribution center type of thing, or even a place where people could part out old cars, classic cars, like a junkyard type of thing. It sounds incredibly redneck, but it would be something that it would definitely be like a hobby type job that I would probably enjoy doing. So maybe something along those lines, but that's only if YouTubing, IT, and archaeology didn't work. So next is from Demigod Bookworm. And the question is, if you could go back in time and change anything in the world, would you take it, and would I take it, and what would you do? Would I take the world? Is that what it's asking? Like, if I could change anything in the world, would you take it, and what would you do? Would I take the world, or would I take something in the world? I'm reading the question wrong. I know I am, but I'll answer anyway. What would I do if I were to go back in time? It depends, I guess, where I would go back in time. I would probably go back in time and take credit for a lot of mechanical invention. I've always been very good with mechanics and electronics and things like that. I was always kind of a MacGyver-esque type of person. And I can kind of, the kind of guy who can fix anything type of thing. And so I know how to program circuits and program electronics from scratch and things like that. I would probably be working with guys like Edison or Tesla or something like that if I could go back in time and like really make a historical name for myself, if I could change anything. But if it was something more subtle, then I might just go back and invest in stuff and be like really, really, really smart for my friends and family now, and kind of assuming that there's no paradox there, where if I go back in time, then I'm not in the future and I wouldn't have any friends because I've affected the future. Anyway, I would probably invest in a lot of things, put money away somewhere, and really hope that my future generations, my friends, my family, or something could benefit from that in some way, or even myself benefit from my great investment in the far past. You know, it would be kind of a weird thing to consider, but you know, if you're in a time machine, why not, right? If I was actually in a time machine, I'd probably go back in time and invent the time machine then, to be like, instead of because whoever invents the time machine will be an amazing scientist genius. I'm going to go back in time and pretend that I was the one who invented it. This question is from Henrik321, and the question is, would you like Red Cube? I think it's a little bit, the English isn't straight, but would you like Red Cube to come back, I think is what it's asking. And I think it's it might not be a well-known fact, but it is definitely a fact, especially with people who I've talked to about this, is that when I started Time Shot with Liam and Winter, I didn't want Red Cube to go away. I definitely didn't want it to. I wanted it to be almost like a sibling rivalry type of thing. I wanted it to be a friendly competition between each other's servers. I wanted it to be something where we could play like server versus server UHC type of things. I had all these different things in the back of my mind that I thought, you know what, Red Cubed is going to be awesome. Would I like it to come back? I don't. It's entirely up to the people who ran it the first time, specifically Drew. If he were to recreate some kind of a Red Cubed, I would totally respect that, and I think that he definitely should. I'd love to see that thing come back, because I think that there was a lot behind that brand name. We had done a lot of footwork into getting our name out there for that to just end all of a sudden. And it had a lot of amazing and wonderful members who, you know, if they were to form a server again, I would really hope that it would be in at least the same vein as what Red Cube was representing. It was kind of a cool place to hang out. So, would I like to see it come back? Yeah, I think I would. The next question is from Hi Boy. And his question is, your favorite Asian former server member better not be Yuki. Yeah, Hi Boy, much love. I love you, man. For real though, he says, if there was one thing you wished that your audience could understand about YouTube life that they might not otherwise know, what would it be? And I think I've talked about this a lot, and I've talked about this in different Time Shot videos, Red Cube videos, my own personal, like, just different podcasts and stuff. We've talked about it. How people don't seem to understand the amount of work that goes into YouTube. And I've even thought about doing a whole vlog video, if I could get like a cameraman here and do it with me, where we would basically follow a life in the day of someone who is like me, who has to all of a sudden produce 6 videos today from scratch, and just kind of focus on the amount of work and the amount of prep that it takes. You know, the amount of, like, if I show you, you can't even see these, you can't even read it, but this is like my notes for the draw my life type of, focus in, come on, you can see my scrawled writing, but I've got like tons of notes written down, and lots of groundwork and written work just put into like one episode of something. And then there's the editing process, and the fact that, you know, we have to work as hard as we do to pay the bills so that we can have fast internet, so that we can upload these videos. And it's just kind of a crazy thing, YouTube is, about how much work goes into it. And I see increasingly more now than before this negative connotation towards YouTubers, like we get everything we have for free, how we don't really work for what we've got, how, you know, 15-minute video didn't take us very long to create. It can't possibly amount to the amount of work that goes into, say, some other job or some other area. And I would like to be able to, like, really define and show just how much work goes into YouTube videos. Now, I know that there was a guy, I think it was posted on Reddit from the Achievement Hunter group, Rooster Teeth or something like that, and he actually made a huge post kind of detailing, kind of step by step, a day in the life of what he does and how much time it takes, even just like, even if you have a video pre-recorded, how much time after it's recorded it takes to get the video up and live and active and viewable and stuff like that. And because recording it is the easy part, but I don't think a lot of people understand the behind the scenes very much, or care for that matter. And so, like, if I wish the audience understood the amount of work, it would be, yeah, that would be great if they could just understand that amount of work. Next question is from Your Favorite Dream. And the question is, who is your closest friend on TimeShot? Oh, and congratulations on 100K. You totally deserve it. Thanks. My closest friend, I don't know. It's probably both Liam and Win are my closest friends on TimeShot, if I'm to be honest. Because, I mean, TimeShot wouldn't even be a thing if it wasn't for, like, the three of us kind of getting together and just hanging out for a few days and kind of just chilling and deciding that was kind of the thing to do and the thing to be doing. So I would consider them probably my closest friends. I know that we have like an admin chat going, and I definitely go to them with a lot more of my personal stuff and a lot more of my day-to-day stuff than I would put in like the general, we have another TimeShot chat that with all the members. And I find myself quite often, if I need like a personal support, I'm probably going to be going to Liam and Win more so than anybody else. It's not to say that I don't consider them to be really close friends or great friends or anything like that. It's genuinely just the fact that it's almost like I've been with them so much longer and experienced a lot more with them. So maybe there's a lot more of a relation there than anything else. Than I can relate with other members of TimeShot who I don't spend that much time with. So, you know, if I were to consider anybody my closest friend on there, it would probably be split between Liam and Win. If Liam is now leaving TimeShot, then probably Win is my go-to, definitely. The next question is from Jordy. And the question is, if you would have to create a community on an abandoned island with all of your subscribers and you would be their leader, what would this community be like? Also, grats on 100K. If we were on an abandoned island, what would the community be like if I was their leader? I would like to think that I'd probably be an okay leader. I think so. I think that I have the confidence in myself now that I could probably lead a group of people. Even if it was on like an abandoned island when we have like no resources or anything like that. Again, I do have that kind of a MacGyver type of mentality. So I can kind of piece things together and kind of recommend certain things. I'd probably be getting in a lot of people's way, to be honest with you. But I think that it would be probably a pretty good community, probably very run strictly. That wasn't proper grammar, I know, but you know what I mean. It would be run very strictly. Because I don't tolerate... I think it would be a lot like when I manage people or manage a company or manage my business or things like that. When I was an IT manager, I always got things done. I always got things done today. And if it's supposed to be done today, it should have been done yesterday, you know? I ran business with a very, almost an iron fist, you could call it, where I don't take no for an answer. I always get my way. And if I don't get my way, then you're going to pay in some way. And that's probably, unfortunately, how any community I would run would probably be like. But hopefully, with the combination of amazing people that we have in this community, it would never have to get to the point where I'd have to be raging and ranting the way that I sometimes do. I think that a lot of people would probably get along, and it would be an awesome group. I know that even from like when we hang out, on live streams, on servers and stuff. It's nothing compared to real life or what it would be like with you guys actually in the room and stuff like that. But I always have a great time with the fans and the community itself, especially with those who are definitely more involved in the community. So, yeah, I think it would be a pretty cool place to be. And if I was their leader, then, well, they're the ones who have to deal with me. You know? Number one. I'm actually reading the next question has 2 points and they're numbered. So next question is from Raspust, I think is how it's pronounced, maybe. Or Raspust, or, well, whatever. You know how your name is pronounced anyway. Number one, like I was reading before, what do you think of League of Legends? It's aight. I think it's all right. It's not for me. It's not something that I'd be interested in. And from what I've looked about it, I looked into it. It doesn't seem like something that I could see myself getting into very much. If I did, I would probably be very obsessive with it and probably never stop playing kind of thing, which wouldn't be good for me. However, yeah, I think that the people who play it are kind of cool. People who do play it now are kind of cool. And I think the game is kind of cool. But would I personally check it out? It's just not really the genre or play experience that I'm looking for right now in terms of what I do, in terms of the time I have even. But you never know. You know, I have been invited to play it a couple times. And I've never really taken anybody up on that offer, but you never know. Like I said before, with like other games, like never say never. Just because I don't like a certain type of genre of game doesn't mean I won't at least try it once. So what do I think about it? I think it's an alright game. I think that it's definitely accomplished a lot, so that's kind of impressive. Let's see. Number 2, what are your 4 favorite people from Red Cubed Season 1? That's a tough question, man. Why is everybody asking me what my favorite people? I love everybody. How can I pick? I do miss a lot of the people who were on Red Cube Season 1 who didn't come to Time Shot, who didn't come to other servers and things like that in the end, and you know, I just miss so many of those people like crazy. Shiro's Heroes, Ice Cube, Yuki, Drew, just so many to name. Even guys like Vaughn, Highboy, who I just realized now we're actually in Season 1. So many people. It's just crazy. I don't think I could pick a favorite. I don't think I want to, because I just miss them all too much. The people who I kind of lost touch with or don't talk to as much as I probably should, you know, they're all my favorites. I just really can't pick. So, oh yeah, the Elemento Steve too. I forgot about too. There's others I'm not mentioning, but yeah, that's almost too deep a question, man. Too deep. Next question is from JVP15. There we go. Congratulations on 100K. Thanks. If you were to design a video game, what would it be? What features, physics, and story would you have? I can actually tell you exactly what it would be, because I did design video games back in the day. It would be an RPG, number 1. It would have a mythological storyline, kind of like Final Fantasy-esque. And the physics and story and all that kind of stuff would as well be kind of Final Fantasy-esque, battle system in the works. I think that Final Fantasy, the old Final Fantasy games, that is, not like the new Final Fantasy 15 or whatever's coming in the future, but like the old Final Fantasy 4. Final Fantasy 4, I've said it several times, I say it now, is one of my favorite games of all time. And I think if I could ever make a game, even if it was like a very retro-esque game these days, I would still love to do and produce one of those kinds of games. Um, it would be kind of nice to do that kind of thing. Um, Even from a story standpoint, the typical the world is going to end and this small group of people has to save it type of mentality. I really love that kind of storyline in any kind of movie, video game, comic book, you name it. That's kind of like, I love that plot. I just eat it all up. It's just amazing. So I would probably want to write a game like that too. Next question is from General Tuber. Congrats on 100K. That's awesome and well-deserved, Poet. Thank you. Here are a few questions you can choose from or not choose from at all. I'll answer them. Number one, when you first started YouTube, what were your plans or goals? And this is kind of maybe something that I'll also talk about on the draw my life type of thing. But when I started YouTube, I didn't have a goal or a plan for it. I did YouTube to get a friend through some hard times, through depression and through a lack of something to really accomplish type of thing. It was something that we could both kind of share together and do together. And I really couldn't care less about the planning, the goal of it, the outcome of it, getting to 100,000 subscribers. As offensive as it might seem, 100,000 subscribers is an amazing, amazing thing. But it was never a goal of mine to get to any kind of subscriber goal. Excuse me, I'm running out of, I need a water and I didn't bring one with me. Wait, maybe, hold on, wait. Yes. Okay, better. Parchment done. Let's see. I didn't have any plans or goals when I started YouTube. The plans and goals only really came after the fact when I started doing it as a career. Then I really had to start thinking that, wait a minute, all those things that I scoffed at, the caring about where you are and how the numbers are doing and things like that, maybe I should start really caring about those and planning around those and doing series that not only that I enjoy but that others enjoy and things like that. I still haven't learned anything. I still don't do any of that. And so planning and goals, I mean, it's just kind of, I threw it out the window long ago when I started, actually. So I didn't have any plans or goals when I started. And plans and goals now, I don't really even have, like I was, as cliche as it sounds, getting to 100,000. I didn't expect I'd ever get to. I don't expect that I'll get to 200,000. I don't expect that I'll get to 1 million. I don't expect that I'll get to 1 billion. If it happens, it's an amazing thing, but it's never going to be really a goal of mine to get to a certain point in my YouTube career, so to speak. I just want to be able to do these videos and sustain myself off of them would be nice. Number two, what do you want to change or improve with your channel? I definitely want to be able to, I look at some of the bigger channels out there who hire editors and who do very heavily produced content because they do have production staffs and things like that. And it would be so nice to be able to do some of the stuff that they do just on my own even, but like have a really, really awesome looking channel trailer and do really awesome annotations in the videos and be able to do as many jump cuts as they do and be able to edit in graphics and text and things like that a little bit easier than how I'm doing it now. That's what I would want to change or improve, is to kind of just be on that upper echelon level where some of the guys who have those production staffs are. Maybe I can't be on that level until I have my own production staff, if that ever was a thing. But that's really like we're talking far future. In the meantime, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing and learn as I go. Recently I made it so that all my thumbnails kind of have the same kind of template, and I think that was a big step in kind of the professionalism and how I do things, and the way that I see things on YouTube is kind of more of a professional thing that I want people to associate a certain video with me. and I want them to try to copy what I do, rather than me having to borrow ideas from other people, as part of your learning experience. I want them to copy from me because I had the great idea. So that's kind of where I'm improving right now. Number 3, what is something you wish every person could realize? I think that is this also general to YouTube? Then in that case, I've already answered it. If you're talking about like something that I wish everybody could realize, is that I really wish that every other YouTuber who does what I do and who doesn't have the same level of following that I do deserves the level of following, at the very least, that I do. I think that's something that I wish people could realize. I used to get it a lot when I would only have 5,000 subscribers or less, where I would see people commenting and they would say, "Oh, how many subscribers do you have?" Like that number really mattered. And if I told them how many I had and it was a smaller number than 1,000,000 or something, then they would scoff at it and be like, "Well, who cares about you then?" And I think that's something that a lot of people need to realize, is that a subscriber count doesn't make a person good at YouTube videos, or doesn't make their videos any better than anyone else's. Sometimes all a small YouTuber needs is that one moment of recognition, So I think that I really wish that people could realize that a lot of the YouTubers that I collaborate with, especially a lot of the people that don't have big followings, they do deserve big followings. And I personally can't understand why some of them don't have big followings. So it's, I wish that every person could realize that. Next question. Actually, it looks like maybe 2 questions from Lady DeWinter. First question. Of all of your videos, which one was your absolute favorite one to make? I think one of the most enjoyable ones that I actually made was actually the intro to my Lion King series. If that's I kind of classify that as a video because it still took the same kind of level of production to make as a video. I loved the video. I loved the sound. I loved the way that I spliced in the different cuts. And when I made that Lion King intro, it was something that I look back at and I was so proud of. I remember the day that I released the first video, I was just so happy about it. I didn't care if the rest of the video, like if that took off or was popular or anything. The intro to that video was something that I was really proud of. It was one of my absolute favorite things to make. As far as like other videos that I really love making, I really like and really enjoy any video that really lets me talk and lets me be myself and lets me kind of just sometimes unload some of the stress that I've got, or some of the opinions that I've got, or something that's been bothering me, or like all of my time shot videos and stuff. The other favorites, of course, are any of the collaborations where I can't hide it, when I'll kick off laughing to the point where if I had the webcam up, you guys would see me in tears at some of the things that have happened where, if a certain person gets hit in a certain way or a certain person says a certain thing, like when in Waking Up, when Misconduct, I had bronchitis really bad. My chest was sore. My throat was sore. I couldn't even really speak without absolutely dying from coughing. And Nia was the same way. And when Misconduct came down on this minecart backwards through a hole that I think I had made and fell into blackness and then got blown up by creepers, despite me being as sick as possible, I think I almost died there from laughing. And that's just one example of one of those moments where memories are irreplaceable. That will be something that sticks with me forever, kind of thing. If I'm to go very, very, very recently, was in like Diversity 2 with Jake when we were doing the trivia, and he thought he got this question right, and he ran up to this green block and hit the button and instantly dies. And I just moments like that, I really enjoy making moments like that, not just for other people but for myself. I love, if I can entertain myself, then that definitely adds to the favoritism of a video, I think. And coincidentally, the next question is actually from Jake, and it says, who's your favorite band member? And I would definitely say that my favorite band member is... Wait, we don't have any band members on the server, technically. Actually, that's not true. Jake's second account, Jake has 2 Minecraft accounts. I think his second account is actually banned on the server for kicks and giggles. So maybe I have no choice but to answer Jake, but yeah, that question's a trap. I'm not going to answer it. I opt not to. This next question is from Joe M, and it's a random hypothetical, apparently. Yay, it says. Random hypothetical, yay! If you were stuck in an inescapable room with Time Shot members and knew one of them was secretly an assassin, not very good secret, I guess, not too secretly an assassin, but not specifically which person it was. I just knew that one of them was an assassin, but didn't know who specifically. Who would I be most afraid of? I think, knowing the Time Shot members as much as I do, I would probably be afraid of the person who admits that they are the assassin first. Because as secretive as they try to be, they would probably admit to it pretty quickly just to start killing people, I think. So whoever that would end up being. But if you're asking like what member, is this a question asking like what member am I most afraid of? If I was to look at them as all as killers or something. Never trust a ginger, I'd say. So Liam probably be at the top. I don't know. That's a weird question. That's a weird question. Yeah. I don't know. I'll think on that one. Maybe I'll get back to you. And the last question. This is the last question. What? It's from Taylor Reese 2, and it says, number 1, what is your favorite Jurassic Park movie? Oh, easy question. Number 2, how did you feel after this year's Time Shot UHC? Okay, cool. Favorite Jurassic Park movie is number 1. I think that's almost everybody's favorite Jurassic Park movie. Second favorite would be number 3, and third favorite being number 2. Even though Ian Malcolm was my favorite character, so that's kind of why even though I liked number 3 better for like the story and the plot and all that kind of stuff, I watch number 2 a lot more than I watch number 3. But don't tell Alan Grant that, you know. I'm fine with saying that number 1 is best, number 3 is second, number 2 third, but I loved Ian Malcolm's character the best out of all of them. So, you know, give him that. Second question is, how did I feel after this year's UHC? I thought it went okay. I was the one hosting the server, and I felt pretty disappointed in a lot of the cases where I was watching the death montage that a fan posted, and watching other people's views, and every time they talked about lag or when something didn't go right, especially when they died from the lag, it was almost like this gut-wrenching feeling like, oh, I'm so sorry. And even if the lag was what ultimately finished me off and my partner off and impeded other people from playing normally how they would, that was kind of one of the biggest disappointments. But otherwise, I think that it went very well. We did bring in a bunch of fans. I had never even spoken with my partner until the very second that, like, if you go through my video and you cut through the intro where we were all kind of together in a group, the first thing that she says to me is the very first time that I ever even heard her voice. So that goes to show you, like, whether we were prepared or not for this kind of a UHC, I don't know. But I had loads of fun. I think it was one of the most fun UHCs that I've ever been a part of. And I've been a part of several UHCs in my days, even going back to like before I was on Red Cubed, I was in a lot of UHCs and things like that. I think that it was definitely one of my favorites so far. We played a very good game. Everybody played a really awesome game and did very well. So I don't think it could have gone any better, despite some of the technical difficulties, you know. So I was pretty proud of being a part of that and helping set that up. So with that, that's the last question, I believe. Yep, it's the very last question. Close that now. So I want to lastly thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this extra long Q&A, 100,000 subscribers special type of thing. I will try to put together a Draw My Life, like I've said several times in this video, and I haven't spoiled certain things because I wanted to do it, so I better do it right. Like I said, I do have like all these, the preparation notes of like what I should, look at these. They're, talk about a geek, right? They are StarCraft, can you see this? No, a little bit, if I tilt it downwards, a little bit. StarCraft notepads. But yeah, I'm prepared for one, so I'm gonna maybe try to do one. It'll be hopefully soon. Hopefully before I'm at 200,000 subscribers, I'll have my 100,000 subscriber Draw My Life thing. But yeah, anyway, look forward to that. Hope you guys enjoyed the day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.